Hey, fight fans, this is Ted Check coming at you live. For anybody who's out there across the fruited plain, across the interwebs, it's another one of these. I just felt like doing it, so I'm going to do it. You know, I didn't really have a set time or anything like that, so I'll understand if you don't tune in and you catch it later, on the replay. But I'm here in the padded cell, as you can see. Never did anything with the downstairs, or haven't yet. But I kind of like it this way. Do you know another person, who does a YouTube live with this kind of background? And it's a real background. It's not a fake background. It's a real background. See, I can just, it's real. Yeah. So how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Let's see here. So I'm still getting used to this whole, it's like a new studio thing that YouTube did. Maybe it's not new, but it's new to me because I just started getting back into doing YouTube. Yeah, I wanted to go over some stuff, some recent UFC events, and then kind of look ahead, see what's out there, see what's good, what we should look forward to. So yeah, UFC 285, that happened. It did happen. I was at a bar, or Buffalo Wild Wings. And there were, I live in Pennsylvania, so there were a lot of people that were there just for Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel was a Penn State wrestler, did really, really well with Penn State. I don't know if he was an All-American or a national champion or one of those or both of those or whatever. But he was, this was his first UFC fight. And can you imagine this? Your first UFC fight, and you get on the main, actually, well, that's not exactly true. He had two fights with Dana White's Contender Series. He did have that. He had two fights with Dana White's Contender Series, and then he got a legit UFC fight, and that was on the main card of UFC 285. I think he was the first. He was the first fight on the 5-fight main card of UFC 285, and he looked great. He looked great. Really didn't really didn't throw much of a punch or a kick. Well, he threw one kick, and he threw a kick. And I don't mean to laugh too much, but he threw a kick and he kind of flopped on the ground, but he recovered quickly. And then he got to wrestling, and he it says, I'm just looking at something here. Submitted was it Jamie Pickett in the first round. He got a submission in the first round, so it was very impressive. Of course, and so that was his fourth. Can you imagine turning pro, and your fourth fight in your entire career is you're on the main card of a UFC event, a numbered event, a pay-per-view. Yeah, pretty amazing. But his wrestling pedigree goes a long way, and yeah, so like I said, there were a lot of people that were at B-Dubs cheering this guy on, and he impressed. I want to see more of his striking. We'll have to see who they match him up with next. And we all know the old phrase, styles make fights. I think that the guy that he faced, Pickett, was more of a striker, and so Bo went back to what he relies on, his base, which is wrestling, and then he's picked up the submissions, so that's good. So we'll just have to see how the striking comes along. I was looking at 285, the results of 285. Here's something you might not see all the time: 4 submissions. It was a 5-fight main card. 4 submissions out of that. You had Nickel over Pickett, Rachmanov over Neal, Grasso over Shevchenko, which was the upset of the night, and then John Jones over Cyril Gane. Also by submission. Yeah. So the only decision was Gamrot over Turner. Yeah. So I wrote down here. I'm looking at my notes. We need to see some striking out of Bo Nickel. Hopefully that'll be next time, next fight. I'm sure he's going to want to get into it, quickly. He's he's young and he's just starting out his UFC career, so I'm sure he's, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. He's probably already asking Dana White, hey, when can I fight next? When can I fight next? So yeah, he's only 4-0. We need to see that striking. And but John Jones, that was aside from Grasso over Shevchenko. You want to talk about a fight where I thought it was actually going to go the distance. So I predicted it would go the distance, but man, was it a one-sided thing. I mean, John Jones submitted Cyril Gahn in what, like 2 minutes, maybe less, with a guillotine. Really, yeah, I'm not sure if much in the way of striking was employed in that fight either. But yeah, he made short work of Gahn. So there's talk of Stipe Miocic, or John Jones wants to fight Stipe Miocic. I can't resist. I have to do it. I have to. So there's talk of that. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be next for John Jones. Oh, here's my cat. My cat's making an appearance, sort of. Come here, Brady. There's the cat. He doesn't like to get picked up. He's like, get me the hell out of here. Let me go, human. Yeah, I mean, I've been a harsh critic of John Jones, and I, unabashedly, I don't have any, I don't take anything back. He really, from allegedly hiding under the cage at Jackson Winklejohn, and all the DUIs and the alleged domestic abuse and all the steroid violations. He not a stellar record. Let's put it that way. Not a model citizen. It's like there's two sides to John Jones, because there's the do-gooder John Jones, and then because we've seen him, I don't know, chase people down like thieves or whatever, and then there was something having to do with a shotgun. We have the do-gooder John Jones, and then we have the bad guy John Jones, the cheater, the like who was it? Oh my God, I don't know, but lie, steal, cheat, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of this professional wrestler, Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul. Lies, cheat, steal, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So there's kind of two sides to John Jones, and I find myself, like, oh, okay, what's next? What's he gonna do next? Or has he really reformed this time? What, Brady? Yeah, we named him Brady after Tom Brady. You know it. But he just looked unstoppable. Even with the weight gain against Gain, and he looked like he had it like most of John Jones. We've seen him doing his squats and doing his deadlifts and all that kind of stuff. But he's John Jones is kind of a skinny fat guy, and because he got it all pretty much in the gut. That seemed to be where he gained most of his mass. He was up to 245 or something like that, 6'4". Shouldn't be a real problem. Shouldn't have been a real problem for him as far as weight gain. He supposedly walked around at like 225, 230 anyway, and then would cut to 205 when he was a light heavyweight. So yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, who they're going to put him up against. Who's the next heavyweight contender? I know I can't think of the guy's name, but there's a Russian dude that's kind of laying waste to a lot of people. Maybe it's that guy. Maybe they'll have him next, but or maybe it'll be. They go, Brady, calm down. Um, or maybe it'll be Stipe. But then we had UFC Fight Night this past weekend with Merab. Uh, wow, this is a tough one. Davalish Davalishvili. Davalishvili. So he beat Petr Yan. I really felt that Petr Yan. We all know, I think, that Petr Yan got screwed out of his title against Aljamain Sterling. I mean, he landed in an illegal strike, but there's no way there should have been a title change on an illegal strike. That should have been I don't know if it's a no contest or disqualification or whatever. But you can't have a title change on a I guess it would have been disqualification. That's a load of bullshit. But I think this was Petr Yan. He lost his rematch with Aljamain Sterling. He lost this fight, so I don't know where he goes from here. And we know he had maybe he needs to kind of chill. Like I get it, he's competitive and everything, but we saw that they lost his composure when he and Dvalishvili squared off at the weigh-ins. He lost his cool there. It's always good to keep your emotions in check as a fighter. You don't want to let them overtake you. So what does it say here? I'd say that this win, looking at Merab Dvalishvili's his record and his win over former champion Petr Yan, I'd say that puts him in line for a shot against Aljamain Sterling. But then the next thing I found out, see, I've been away from the game for a while. The next thing I found out is, these two guys, Dvalishvili and Aljamain Sterling, are they fight out of the same camp. They're training partners. They're both out of who is it? Ray Longo and Matt Serra Longo. Yeah, they're teammates. So they're like, well, we're never going to fight each other. That just won't happen. I think Aljamain Sterling has said he would move up in weight or something like that before so that he wouldn't have to face Dvalishvili. Which, if he did that, so what is he saying? He's just going to put the title up. He's going to vacate the title. I mean, it kind of makes sense in a way because he didn't get it legitimately. So if he vacates it, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. So now they're talking Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. I've heard some talk of that. Let's have that fight either to determine the next contender or maybe just to if Sterling does put the title up, then that would be that fight would determine the new champ. You could just put the belt up. So some interesting developments there. Some next fights. We've got UFC 286 in London, England. Good old UK. Yeah, I mean, when I think London, England, I think it was the first time the UFC was over there. And Tito was over there. I'm not sure if he was on the card, but Tito was over there. Chuck Liddell was over there. And there was this huge fight that kicked off. There's like a street fight. It kicked off somewhere outside the arena. And oh my God, who was that guy? He's like in prison in Morocco. He was signed to the UFC, and he oh my God, I can't remember that guy's name. He did one of the biggest bank robberies in British history, and got caught. But then he's half Moroccan, so he took off to Morocco, and they've got him imprisoned there. And I mean, the dude's just wasting away there. Or I think they also got him on some different charges. might have been drug trafficking. But oh my God, what was that guy's name? Ian? No, I don't know. I can't. I'm thinking the guy's first name is Ian, but I can't. I don't know. No, it might not be. I'm going back a ways. Anyway, so there's a street fight that kicked off, and that guy, the guy that I'm talking about, whose name I can't remember, and it's gonna haunt me until I can get to it. That guy knocked out Tito Ortiz. And then also during that fight, I guess there was just like a bunch of dudes that kind of had Chuck Liddell backed up to a wall. So he was fine with that. He put his back to the wall and just started bang, 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 tearing cats down, just tearing dudes up. So when I think of London, England and the UFC, that's what I think of. Oh my God, all right, I'm gonna have to look this. I don't know how to cut away from the stream. I'm just gonna look it up here. Yeah, this Moroccan fighter. Just gonna put Moroccan UFC fighter in jail. Let's see what comes up with. Lee. Oh, his name was Lee Murray. Lee Murray. His full name is Lee Brahim Murray Lamrani. But most people know him as Lee Murray. Yeah, the guy had a very promising career in the UFC, and just totally threw it out the window. Totally, torpedoed his life and his career by doing that bank robbery. But UFC 286 in London, England, we have it's a rematch, the welterweight championship of the world. Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. This will be actually the rubber match, because I think Usman has a decision win over Edwards, and then Edwards won the title from Usman with a head kick in it was the fifth round of their fight, the second fight. So Edwards is the champ, and then Usman gets the immediate rematch. So this is it. This is the rubber match. They both have a win against each other, although you could argue that Edwards' win over Usman was far more dramatic, far more solid, rather than a decision win. But hey, a win's a win. And so they both have a win against each other. So, hey, let's have the rubber match. The title's on the line, and this is going to kind of settle it once and for all. So that should be pretty exciting. And to me, it kind of seems as though it's a case of one fighter having the other fighter's number. Sometimes that happens. That one fighter just has the other fighter's number, and there's just not a lot you can do about it. It's not saying that how the fighter, Edwards could lose to other guys. He might not be the greatest. He's not the greatest matchup for Usman, but some other guys might match up with him better. He's lost. He has losses on his record. It's just that it seems as though he may have Usman's number. It was like a guy named Bronco Psychotic. He was I know, so close to psychotic, but it was like psychotic. He had oh my God, it was a kickboxer. His nickname was Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost. Bronco Psychotic had 2 KO wins over Ernesto Hoost, who was considered like the GOAT of kickboxing, or close to it. But Psychotic just had Hoost's number. He just had his number. He just knew what to do to beat the guy. So that may be the case here. Edwards versus Usman. We'll see. It's a rubber match. Then you got Justin Gaethje on the same card. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael, or is it Rafael? I don't know. It used to be, well, if you were from Brazil, it was, and then you were Rafael, because the R's are pronounced as H's in Brazil. Rafael, or is it Rafael Fazayev? And Gaethje, we know he's the highlight. He's the guy with the heavy hands. Probably never been in a fight that was not exciting in one way or another. And Fazayev is he seems to be a tough customer as well. He's 12-1, so not he doesn't have quite the extensive career that Gagey has had, but Fazayev has 8 KOs. So he only has 13 fights, 8 of those knockout wins. So that should be a pretty exciting one. That should be a barn burner. Then we got UFC 287. We have another rematch. This is kind of the year of rematches, maybe. But not that it's but we, hopefully with these rematches we get some closure, right? That's what we want. We all want closure. And what better way than now, so for this one, Alex Pereira or Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. We know Adesanya was the champ. Pereira had 2 wins over Adesanya in kickboxing. So then he came over. Pereira came over to MMA and to the UFC, and so of course, you have to match him up again. I mean, that's just when you have a guy like that has wins over the champ, and there's that extensive history there. You're like, well, this is just a storyline we could have never dreamt up. This is landing right in our lap. Or maybe they sought out Pereira. I don't know. I don't know the backstory there. But anyway, so Pereira beat Adesanya, and so it looks like Adesanya gets an immediate rematch. They're not always warranted, but I guess in the case of Usman and Adesanya, where both of these guys respectively have had such dominant reigns as champion, it's kind of the respect that, and maybe they haven't written into the contract, but I could see the UFC doing it, out of respect. Even though Usman and I believe Adesanya as well were finished in those fights, still makes sense for them to get an immediate rematch. So we've got that. But you want to talk about fighters that have other fighters' number. Pereira appears to have Adesanya's number. He's just a bad matchup for Adesanya. He's a better kickboxer. He's taller. He's probably has longer arms and legs. He's just a bad matchup for Adesanya. It was UFC 281 where Pereira got a TKO in the 5th round. Maybe in the case of Usman and Adesanya, if those guys had been finished in the 1st round, maybe they wouldn't get the immediate rematch. Maybe that's the barometer. But seeing as how they both got to the 5th round and then were finished, and add to it that they had such dominant title reigns, maybe that's why the UFC said, let's run this back. Let's do it again. So Pereira has 2 kickboxing wins over Adesanya. One of them was a decision and the other one was a knockout. Then we've got UFC Fight Night, I was going to say 22. Fight Night 222. Sergey Pavlovich versus, this is the guy I think I was talking about. Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blades. Pavlovich is 17-1. He's on a 5-fight win streak in the heavyweight division. If you can put together 5 wins in the heavyweight division, because we all know, traditionally the heavyweight division is the thinnest of divisions in the UFC. There's less guys that are that big. So to be on a 5-fight win streak is very impressive. And if he gets this win over Curtis Blades, he'd be on a 6-fight win streak. So why not have this guy fight John Jones? That would be an option, I would think. Blades, though, is also has 17 wins. He's got 17 wins, 3 losses. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Blades has been around. He's I don't know if he's ever challenged for the title, but he's probably been close. He's kind of one of these hot and cold guys, but he's more hot than cold. Like I said, he only has 3 losses, so he's a tough dude. This I would say would be a very, very good test for Pavlovich. If Pavlovich can get past Blades, I would, I would consider Blades. He's not like a lower level gatekeeper. He's more of like a higher level gatekeeper. If he can get through, if he can get through Blades convincingly, if he can finish Blades one way or the other, then I would say he's worthy of a UFC heavyweight title shot against John Jones. But man, I don't know. Back to Jones, like I don't see. He's his own worst enemy. We know that. John Jones is his own worst enemy. Um, More than likely, he'll do himself in before he'll lose to somebody in the octagon. Something else. I'm not saying it's bound to happen, but if you look at history, you know, I don't know, another steroid violation, another DUI, something else. John Jones is his own worst enemy. So it's possible that unless he's on the straight and narrow, maybe he is. Maybe he is on the straight and narrow this time. How many chances? How many chances has the UFC given him? How many times have they bailed him out and whatever? Um, but I just don't see him losing anytime soon in the octagon. He's that dominant. I don't like him as a person. I don't like his track record, but I got to give props where props are due. And then we have and I need to look into this a little bit more. But we've got the Ultimate Fighter, Conor McGregor, making his return, and now he's clean shaven. What the hell's up with that? Not nary a hair on the chinny chin chin of Conor McGregor, unless he's got plans to grow it back. But Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, Iron Mike Chandler, are going to be the coaches for the next Ultimate Fighter. And so, yeah, maybe it would be. I don't know if the format's going to be similar to the other ones. They're all in the house together. We've seen it before. Up to shenanigans and tomfoolery. Break out the booze. Everybody get crazy. Let me bang, bro. Let me bang. I do let you bang. Oh my God. You want to talk Ultimate Fighter? That is the quintessential Ultimate Fighter meme right there. Let me bang, bro. What was his name? Julian. Oh God. I really gotta re-immerse myself because I'm forgetting all sorts of names. Yeah, but I would imagine it's along the same format, and then there's there's training, and then they fight, and it's all culminating with Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. So that should be exciting. I think what I'll do for that is watch it and then do a recap. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I don't know when that's happening. I think that's kind of later this year. Let's look that up while we're at it. Why not? McGregor versus Chandler. Oh, Chandler Bing. Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna fight Chandler. Blah blah blah. Oh, that really doesn't tell us much. Hold on. TUF. The Ultimate Fighter. Ultimate Fighter, I guess, is 31. The entire 12 episode season of The Ultimate Fighter 31. 31. Wow, can you imagine that? Oh man. It all started with Forrest Griffin and see, I'm like totally out of it. I can't even think of names. Hey, Jake Sleeps Mayweather. What's up? Yeah, I guess it is Ted Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday and it's Ted Tuesday. Yeah. So anyway, UFC. I was reading this here. Let me get back on track. But it's great to see you, Jake. So Tough 31 be available on ESPN with one episode dropping each Tuesday, beginning May 30th. Okay, so it's closer than I thought. I thought it wasn't going to be until after the summer, maybe, or something like that. So it starts on May 30th at 10 p.m. Episodes will be available to stream on demand ESPN Plus at 11 p.m. Oh, okay. We'll see. But ESPN Plus is the one where you got to pay extra for. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. I think I might have them both. I don't know. I don't watch ESPN on a regular basis. Um, I don't watch it. I'm not into that. I get my sports news elsewhere, YouTube and stuff like that. I'm not an ESPN person. Way too woke for me. Way too woke. Oh, Griffin and Bonner. That's right. Stephen Bonner. See, I was trying to think. Yeah, and R.I.P. Stephen Bonner. God, I can't believe that guy's gone. Man. So yeah, it all started with Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner. You remember that fight? That was the fight that really, as the story is told, while that fight was going on, people were like calling each other and texting each other and whatever. Yo, dude, this fight, you got to see this fight. You got to tune into this fight. And so the ratings were climbing mid-fight. And it was just such a blood and guts fight. They both left it all out there that the UFC turned around and gave them both contracts. What a way to start the Ultimate Fighter. Power Slap. No, I haven't seen that. I've seen. So this is. Let me see if I have this right. This is the federation, if you will, that Dana White put together. Dana White, I guess. I don't know if it's the UFC or if it's Dana White acting on his own solo away from the UFC. But yeah, I used to watch. I used to catch clips of. I think they were doing it in Russia and all that. Somewhere, Eastern European locales. And so somebody thought, hey, why don't we bring this over to the United States and establish some rules and blah 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 and make some money off of it. So I haven't really seen too much in the way of Power Slap. I am interested in let's see, what do I watch these days? Heck, I even during the pandemic, I was so starved for like something. I even started getting into bodybuilding a little bit. But arm wrestling, I like arm wrestling, and then bare knuckle boxing. BKFC, bare knuckle fighting championships, I think is the biggest organization. So I've been getting into that. But yeah, I'll have to catch some Power Slap. It reminds me of, oh my God, do you guys remember X Arm? You remember X Arm? This was the crazy thing that supposedly, I think Art Davie was involved in it. Art Davie was one of the original owners of the UFC. I mean, he was like, "Oh my God, this new sport X Arm is going to take the world by storm." It was okay. So you got a small table, right? And then you got a fighter on either side of this very small table. So they post up. They're locked in. They're strapped in for arm wrestling. But with your other hand, you can friggin' punch the guy. You can friggin' wail on the dude. And oh my God. You can wail on the dude. I even saw one time, I think I saw a kick come up. Somebody just lifted their leg up and boof, kicked the guy. And then I think another time somebody tried a triangle choke. They just lifted both their legs up and wrapped around the dude and the other guy and tried to triangle choke him or armbar him or something. Yeah, XR. I should do a video about all the weird MMA or quasi MMA things that I've seen over the years, like Yama. Remember Yama pit fighting? Yama pit fighting was, so they had a cage and they had the floor of the cage, but then they had like a runner. They had like a 2-foot elevated ring, and then they had the cage. That was a weird thing. Yama pit fighting. I'm pretty sure they only did one show. They only did one. But yeah, no, back to what you're saying, Jake. Yeah, I should probably catch some Power Slap. It's pretty crazy. That you can, the damage that you can do with an open hand. You can knock somebody out with an open hand. You really can. If you ever watch any of the old Pancrase, where Boss Rutan got his start, Ken Shamrock, Frank Shamrock, those guys, they were doing open-handed strikes while they were on the feet. You could kick and you could open hand strike, You couldn't elbow. You could knee. And then when it went to the ground, there was a gentleman's agreement that you wouldn't strike on the ground. But if one person struck, I think you could only do open hand. But if one person open handed struck, then it was on the ground. Then you could do it. But there was basically a gentleman's agreement that you wouldn't do it. But you've probably seen the one fight between Boss Root and Frank Shamrock where he's hammering it. Frank's got a cut above his eye, and I think that was when Boss got him with a spinning back fist, cracked him with a spinning back fist, and then he was trying to open it further when they were on the ground, and Frank's just like smiling at him and all that stuff. Pretty funny. But yeah, I should do like a compilation video of all the weird derivatives of mixed martial arts that have gone on over the years. Do they still do team MMA? Like I know not here in the United States, but elsewhere, like 2-on-2, 3-on-3, up to 5-on-5 or whatever. Weird stuff, weird stuff that goes on. But yeah, I'm excited about the Ultimate Fighter. I think that should be pretty cool. And because Connor is going to be he's going to be very competitive, and that's going to bring out, he's going to be, I would imagine, well, you just don't know with Connor. Is he going to be mature Connor? What kind of Connor are we going to see? Are we going to see, like mature Connor, or are we going to see pranking, juvenile Connor? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, because he is older. So maybe he's like, oh, that's beneath me. I'm just gonna, just play it right down the middle kind of thing. Well, that would be boring now, wouldn't it? Fight Circus. Oh, 2-on-1. Jeez. Yeah. The only time we ever saw that was, remember when Andre the Giant would take on like 2 guys or 3 guys, and he would stack them in the corner and then squish them backwards. Anyway, Fight Circus. Oh, okay. I seem to remember something about, well, I don't know if this was MMA or if this was, I seem to remember something crazy about guys who were outfitted with like tasers, somehow tasers on their fists. I don't know. Or do they ever do the thing with the, that you wrap your fists in tape, then in glue, and then in glass? Who's that? That was in Von Damme, Kickboxer. Oh, it's on Rumble. Okay, thank you, Jake. Yeah, man. I have Rumble. I like Rumble. I like it a lot because free speech. All for it. All about it. And yeah, so I'll check it out there. But anyway, yeah, this has been some real crazy stuff. Lethwei. You ever heard of It's either Lethwei or Lethwei. This is the stand-up combat sport from Myanmar, the country of Myanmar. It used to be Burma. It was Burmese. So it was Burma, but they don't call it, they renamed their country. Can you imagine that? Renaming your country. So now it's Myanmar. Lethwei. Yeah, it's all out. It's everything. It's headbutts, it's elbows, it's knees, it's punches, it's kicks, it's everything. And it's I believe it's bare knuckle. Or if they're they might be just taped up. But I think it is bare knuckle. Yeah, just there's the one guy from Canada. Is it Dave LeDuc, who's like the reigning champ, or was? I don't know if he still is, but he was he was kind of the cream of the crop. He was the face. He was the face of Lethwei. I don't even know if he still is. I haven't checked in with him in a while. But yeah, I'm a fan of pretty much all combat sports. I do watch some football, but I don't like any other ball sports. I played soccer for a long time as a kid, but I don't like watching soccer or baseball really. I'll go to a baseball game, but I don't like watching it. Yeah, football's okay. Don't like basketball really, you know. Yeah, so that's me. That's me in a this is me in a nutshell. How do I get out of this nutshell? So yeah. Well, hey, I think I'm gonna cut it from here, but I will definitely. I'm gonna start doing more. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing more with the channel. I'm doing whatever the hell I feel like doing with this channel. You know that's the beauty of a YouTube channel is you can do whatever the hell you want to do with it. And it's like I have a lot of varied interests, so I'm not going to be doing just one thing on this channel. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things. You know, like I said before, if I want to smash something, I'm going to get my sledgehammer and I'm going to smash it. God damn it. Oh, here's my cat again. Yeah. If I want to do an interview, like a combat sports interview, or I'm also, of course, into heavy metal, hard rock. So if I want to do an interview in that vein, I'm going to do that. You know, just going to do whatever the hell makes me happy. Because I was way into MMA before, and it started making me go, you know what I mean? It's just it was too much. It was too much, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't a lot of fun for me anymore. But now it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Have a good time all of the time. That's what it's going to be. Right, Brady? Yeah. He's like, get me the fuck out of here. He hates that. He comes to you. He's a cat. He's like the typical cat. Don't touch me. I'll come to you when I want some love. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it, my man. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut out of here. Hope everybody has a good night out there. Good night, good rest of the week, right? Because we're it's almost hump day. Hump day. It's almost hump day, so that's pretty exciting. And then after that's the weekend. So hope everybody has a good night tonight and a good rest of the week. And I will catch you on the next one.